Hi guys. So I just got back from seeing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and make this review as quick as I can to just give you your information. The first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I thought was a garbage fire. It was one of the worst movies that I've seen in a while. Um, for various reasons that are completely obvious, but um so I wasn't really expecting anything from the second one, but when I saw they had like $1 million budget, that is definitely a lot more in comparison to what they had for that terrible first film. Um and uh I saw they changed out the costume designs, and I thought the new costumes looked kind of cool, and I was like, okay. So I decided, you know what, I'll try it, I guess. Um I know everybody already knows about the whole cinematic universe thing that they're creating, but now, did this movie improve from the first one? It did in its own way. Um but let me just say, this movie is still ass. Um the reasons why it did improve a little bit is, like I said, the new costume designs were fine. Uh they added in two other characters with, the owl and Tigger, so that was fine. And they do have a couple of Winnie the Pooh gags in here, which is something that was seriously lacking from the first one. There's not a ton of gags, but there's couple of them, and they land fine, I guess. And there are actually some. I'm gonna be honest. There are some pretty good kills in this movie. There were actually quite a few kills in here. I was like, okay, that is actually pretty good. But aside from that, this movie is not it. It's not good. Um, the story. This movie does have a more, I guess you could say, more of a story than the first one with like Christopher Robin's past, but you don't care about it, and I didn't care. The acting is still really dreadful. I wouldn't say the acting here is as bad as the one in the first one, but acting is still not good either. Um, and I will say this, I know about the whole things that were going on with the director when the first one was made. There were a bunch of people, like giving him death threats and like suggestions of suicide, and that kind of stuff is obviously, not okay. Like, I hated the first one and I didn't like the second one either, but that saying that kind of stuff to somebody who, even though I didn't like their creation, they still did work hard to make something, even though it doesn't work for you. So, and you shouldn't be saying stuff like that to people ever. So, yeah. And the whole crew behind the movie, they do look like they're having a good time making it, so that's nice. Like, even though I'm not the person that is gonna like these movies, I hated the first one and I didn't like this one. But if they're liking making these, that's cool. But they're just not for me. But yeah, I decided to make a really quick review here because I just want to send you in on your way. Um, it's a step up from the first one in its own ways. Like I said, some gags that are fine, good kills, actually quite a bit of good kills. But other than that, this is not a good movie. Um, and especially since this is released as a Fathom event, it's released in like theaters for like a few days for an expensive price. I actually only saw this because I was able to get the ticket price for very cheap, so that's kind of why I went to the theater to see this. But um, yeah, movie is not good, but not as bad as the first one. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Not a recommendation, obviously. If you've seen it, which don't see it. Um, there are two horror films that are playing in theaters right now that are really good. Immaculate and Late Night with the Devil. go see those two instead. This film, maybe you could wait for it to come out on streaming and, maybe laugh at it with a couple of friends. Maybe that'll work, but other than that, this isn't good. But anyway, if you did happen to see it, just let me know what you thought. And as always, subscribe to me to see more horror and thriller reviews.